Happy Tuesday. I don't know about you, but it's been one of those days. I am 14 minutes late. I apologize and I appreciate the grace. I am setting up my all the platforms because I go live on across the social media platforms, that is. So today we are talking about how champions, they don't let the external world dictate their internal world. And I find this hilarious because today was one of those trying days where nothing went as planned. Maybe you've had those days, and I really appreciated what I wrote today in my research because it was really applicable to me today. Alrighty, this is a great quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. It reads, "Nothing external to you has power over you." And that is the truth. Now, here's the thing. Average people believe that the external world needs to be just right for their internal world to be healthy, secure, happy, and at peace. Basically, average people believe the limiting belief that the external world has power over them. They need the external world to fit into their perceived beliefs about the world, or they become frazzled, depressed, neurotic, participating with a negative or fear-based mindset. Now, average people can't help but to allow the outside world to impact their internal world directly. The results are damaging and ultimately keep them in a vicious cycle where they're at the mercy of the external world. Maybe you've been here. I know I have in the past. Average people want to control what they cannot control, and then yet they ignore what's actually in their control. How many of you know someone that does this, right? I do. A lot of people. They stay focused, average people, on trying to control others, trying to control the external situation, and trying to control the outcome. Meanwhile, world-class thinkers know that nothing external has power over them unless they choose to let it have power over them. That's what separates the world class from the average thinker. What is it that really separates them, you ask? Let's be really clear. It's the fact that champions realize they have a choice, and average-minded people are in denial about what they choose. Hi, by the way, thanks for joining. World-class thinkers know they can choose to let the external world impact them or not. Key word is choose, right? You have a choice regardless if you're aware you're implementing it. Whereas the average thinker is unaware they've made a choice to let the external world affect them. Champions accept and live by the truth that they always have a choice and can control what is within their power. That's what they stay focused on. So champions stay focused on controlling their choices, their thoughts, their words, their attitudes, and their feelings. The champion seeks opportunities to implement their effort, because that's really all the control you have is implementing that effort. You don't have control over the outcome, and developing their mindset and skills, especially when the external world is unideal. They see opportunity, growth, and a challenge that will enable them to have improved confidence and operate at a higher level of self, a higher level of consciousness. And that is huge when you learn that you can operate from a higher level of consciousness, your spirit self, your higher self, whichever word you want to use. In contrast, average-minded people see problems, trouble, difficulty, pain, and being trapped, and they're unable to break free or do anything to change it. What makes a champion? Well, stay connected to me and you'll actually find. Today we're talking about one thread of champions about how they perceive the internal versus the external world. So the average person trusts too much on the external world, right? So that's not a champion. And very little on their internal world. Meanwhile, the champion understands that their internal world can change the external world. That's why they focus so much on improving their mindset, improving their perspective, improving their self-talk and their language, reprogramming their core beliefs and their main programming. The world class doesn't surrender their internal power over like average-minded people do. I can't tell you how many average-minded people come to me and they go, "Oh my God, I'm so bothered by this external thing." Well, here's the thing. You can't control what other people are doing, but you can control your meaning you make out of it. Champions, they can take control of their internal world by detaching from the external world. And I'm talking about a healthy detachment. I'm not talking about disassociation. I'm just talking about a healthy detachment, which there is healthy detachment. They live by the truth that the external world doesn't need to be a certain way for them to thrive. They make the environment work for them, making the external realities submit to them. Champions understand and accept that their internal world can be whatever they want it to be, regardless of the external world's reality. The world-class thinker knows how to cultivate contentment amid the unknown, calmness amid chaos, and joy amid unideal external realities. And there is so much mental freedom in that. And such a reality is utterly foreign to the average-minded individual. average people apathetically give up when the external world becomes unideal, unpleasant, uncomfortable, but champions see it as an opportunity to grow and improve. Now, the world-class thinker knows that the most excruciating and difficult times can yield the most mental growth and opportunity. Those moments of difficulty, displeasure, and frustration allow the champions to see where their negative mindset, beliefs, and ideas, are limiting them. And that's huge, right? Because you've got to figure out what are your limiting beliefs. And then they allow themselves to rise higher into their true self and divine thinking capabilities once they've grown their awareness. The world-class thinker understands that any external reality that brings up negative emotions, limiting beliefs, or frustrations, that is a teaching moment with the potential to launch them forward. Champions use that opportunity to grow their higher self, to reach a new level of higher consciousness. And this is where just divine geniusness rests. And the world class is hungry to leave behind thinking in their lower level of consciousness. And lower consciousness is thinking with sensation, power, and security. There's never going to be enough. Champions appreciate these moments that highlight negative addictions, right? So any toxic or fear-based mentality, any limiting belief, feelings, beliefs, and thoughts inside of them, as it provides this excellent opportunity to reach a higher state of consciousness by reprogramming their true self and leaving that lower level of consciousness of thinking. So in conclusion, champions understand that true power comes from within. They recognize that their internal world is not at the mercy of external circumstances, but is shaped by their choices and attitudes. While average individuals often feel helpless and controlled by the world around them, high performers know that they always have the power to choose their responses and focus on what they can control. And this mindset empowers them to thrive even in the face of adversity. For high performers, or those aspiring to be a high performer, because you can become one if you want to be one, you have to remember that your internal world is your sanctuary. Cultivating positivity, optimism, resilience, and strength within is your control regardless of the external conditions. By embracing challenges as opportunities for growth and focusing on your internal state, you actually can transcend limitations and achieve a higher level of performance and fulfillment. Champions don't just survive the storm, they learn to dance in the rain, turning every obstacle into a stepping stone toward greatness. So adopt this mindset and you too can rise above the average, unleash your full potential, and become a true champion in every aspect of your life. I want to leave you with 5 questions because I might be sharing things that you've never thought about before, right? Because high performers, the elite, they think completely different than the average world. 95% of people in the world are average thinkers. The blind is really leading the blind. It's unfortunate. I'm not saying that I'm a world-class thinker by any means. I am learning and I am doing the research and I'm sharing what I'm finding because I love working with high performers. I've had the privilege of working with professional athletes, with people at the very top of the military, with executives that are in top companies and so forth. So here are the 5 questions. What external situations cause you to feel trapped, apathetic, or hopeless? Those situations have a present in them. It's an opportunity for you to overcome that and most likely deal with some emotions that you've repressed or suppressed, depending on the situation. Number 2, what does better focusing on noticing your thoughts, attitudes, and responses look like as opposed to trying to control the external world? Number 3, what does transforming setbacks and challenges into opportunities for growth look like? Last June, actually, I realized that every problem had the opportunity of a promise and a provision, an upgrade. And I think Napoleon Hill years ago said that every problem has a present inside of it. But if you keep focusing on the problem, you're missing that present, right? You can't look for presents and focus on problems. It's just not how the brain works, unfortunately. Number 4, what daily habits and practices can you implement right now to strengthen your internal world and maintain optimism, hope, and a resilient mindset? And number 5, what does reprogramming limiting beliefs and negative thoughts that arise in difficult situations to elevate your consciousness and performance look like? Please remember that a belief doesn't have to be true for you to believe it. So many of people's beliefs are really limiting beliefs because most people are raised by average people and therefore adopt their average way of thinking and limiting beliefs. Let me know in the comments what you took away, and feel free to share what you're wanting to learn. I'm going to do my best to hop on here every day to give you a little mini lesson on how to think like the world class or a champion. I work with high performers specializing in mindset. I have a 99.8% success rate getting my clients to their goals and changing their mentality. I'm going to ask you to go and create a great day, because guess what? It's up to you. Don't be passive. Go be proactive. Have a good one.